Opening ace king, small blind 3-bets, and you might wonder, Ben, what the fuck? What is this strategy? Obviously, it's an exploitative strategy, right? Let me zoom out a bit and we're gonna be looking into this. So in GTO, this will be our strategy. But what happened here? What we did is we altered small blinds, flatting and 3-betting strategy. So in GTO, you're supposed to be playing this strategy, but very often on final tables, you will face very tight and scared money opponents. How do you adjust? And I bet that some of you might have had those situations where their gut feeling told them it doesn't feel right to defend tens or jacks here. This guy hasn't been doing anything. When we switch to exploitative, so obviously we've node locked this spot to see what is our counter strategy. So there's very little bluffing, it's mostly value, and we just reduced from 5.2 to 1%. So, and if you argue, wait a minute, this is not realistic, sorry, then we play against different opponents. I have these shit nits left and right on my final tables, and I want to learn how to adjust properly. As you can see here, with this new input, we're supposed to play this strategy in GTO, but this is our new strategy. And as you can see, it becomes ridiculously tight. Our opponent is not having those ace-5, ace-4 suited so often, only 50% of the times. And even if you have jacks and tens or you have an ace-jack, the likelihood of your opponent now having jacks plus, queens plus is just tremendously higher. And he has around half of our stack, so he can inflict significant damage on us. And at the beginning of the video, I said this method. What is this method? This method is simply that instead of grinding your solves, you put in the range and then you alter your opponent's range. I know it's a lot of work. I've done this in 2016 with Sit and Go Wizard and Hold'em Research Calculator. Those were the most dominant software back in the days, mostly Hold'em Research Calculator, because I could also alter my opponent's ranges. And I've never put a range in just to look, what is my strategy? I've always made sure that I tried to give my opponent a range, whoever I was playing against, no matter what was in low stakes, mid stakes, or high stakes. Obviously, what happened is I would see a lot less outputs than my opponents. Maybe they were grinding through 50 sims a day and I would only grind through 7 sims. But those 7 sims were a lot higher quality, had a lot more depth, because I learned what it takes to make ridiculous tight folds or to be super punty, to be super aggressive in a profitable way. I expanded my horizon. I got to learn what I can do against all these different opponents. And I realized pretty quickly, wait a minute, I literally just run over my competitors. And that's why it also felt so much easier for me to transition into tournaments. And I bet your first instinct when you play against a tighter opponent that you still feel attached to your 10s, 9s, ace, jack, even though your gut tells you, wait a minute, we should probably fold here, this guy's tight, but your brainwashed GTO brain tells you, but we have to defend, we have to be balanced, otherwise we're gonna get exploited. And the other way, where you have a feeling that you play against someone really tight and scared, that you should probably open more hands, 3-bet a lot more hands, and simply be more aggressive, but you don't want to look stupid, and it's not in the realm of your GTO strategies, so you're not making those plays that could actually make you a lot of money, and then you complain that you're not running as deep as others, or you're not winning as many tournaments as some of your friends or some of the crushers. Let's get back to another spot. Here, middle position, we're in a final table, full ring, and MP opens. Especially with those 20-30 big blind stacks, it can be quite tricky. And this is what the opponent is supposed to be 3-betting. You can see not even 10s and 9s want to be in there. I think most players would just be going all in with 10s and 9s here very often. So you're gonna have lots of ace jack offs, king queen offs, suited king x. I would argue that maybe some opponents 3-bet more suited aces and less of the king queen offs and king jack offs, even though they're actually real powerhouses here. And again, I understand that against some opponents you need to be more aggressive, but you have those very tight opponents to see what you're supposed to do against them. So we reduced the 3-bet frequencies from 7% to 5.5%. So let's have a look what middle position is supposed to do here. And you see in GTO, shoving those 8s, 9s sometimes, 4-bet bluffing, king jacks. You see this very often, by the way, king queens, king jacks as 3-bets and 4-bets. Especially king jack is one of those dark horses where it just has really great blocker effects because of its unblocking factors for ace-x and still blocks ace, king, kings, queens, or kings and jacks. So let's have a look. And you can see here that we're still jamming some of the suited aces, but you see that from 68 we are now folding 78%, and that even ace queen off, ace queen suited is not really in there. And you might even have opponents that 3-bet bluff a lot less, especially when you have a feeling that this is a tournament where it's more money for some players and they just really want a ladder. They might not have even any bluffs at all. So this is where you want to be mindful when you feel like, man, just getting it in with 10s or 9s or 8s, it's totally reasonable to fold here, especially when you give yourself an edge.